The Sixth Axis podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to another entry in our year according to series of podcasts. As per usual, I am your host Chris Lipscomb. This is our series where we interview people about their 2015, whether they be game developers, part of the gaming community or writers at TSA. Today I am talking to someone who's a bit hard to categorise. It is Blair Inglis, who used to, is that how you pronounce your surname? I never get it right.
Inglis, yeah, you got it right.
Yeah.
One of the very few people to get it right.
Only because I've had to say it a lot of time on podcasts, and I just always second guess myself. You may remember that at the start of this year, Blair was the editor-in-chief of TheSixthAxis.com. He abandoned us, essentially, cast us aside.
Essentially.
Because he was like, fuck you guys, I'm going to go make a game. You're not interesting anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. That's why I'm here talking to you right now.
That's pretty much what happened.
Just to rub it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you went to, what? Tell me the name of your studio, because I can't say it.
It's Mystic Penguin Games.
So you definitely didn't found it just to annoy me.
No, it's just a nice side effect.
As long-term listeners will be aware, I cannot pronounce the word penguin properly.
The word what?
Penguin.
Yeah, that was good.
Penguin.
That was good effort.
But to say it that way, I have to genuinely think about it. I didn't used to be able to say millionaire properly.
Millionaire.
I used to say million.
Yeah, I used to say
no L's.
soldiers instead of shoulders.
Oh, everyone does. I did that. So that's difficult. I think that's just being a child, though. That's like those two are weird when you're still young. It's hard to distinguish. So you went and founded your little old game studio to make a game called Membrain.
Yes, I did.
Tell us about Membrain.
Well, if you listened to the podcast before, you might have heard me rambling on about it. It's a first-person puzzle platformer where you can manipulate the puzzles as you play and sort of add blocks or jump pads or more mechanics to the level as you play to complete puzzles or get yourself to the exit or whatever. So it's it sort of blends that sort of Minecraft thing with building your own thing with a less open world sort of game, more there are multiple solutions to each puzzle, but it's still just a singular puzzle in each level. It's not like you can go round and just add whatever and you're constrained by resources and such, but that's what makes it fun, trying to work out with how many resources, how you'll get across this gap, or how you'll get this block to the other side of the room, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I find the actual idea of genuinely manipulating the level like you're in a level editor is very interesting.
Yeah,
because you're placing actual blocks and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's like solving a big jigsaw. Whereas say Minecraft, for example, is playing with Lego. This is more like solving a jigsaw puzzle, adding the bits in that are missing. Yeah,
that's a good way of putting it. Because obviously you've got games like Portal, or where you're messing with the level design, but in an intended way, in that you're just adding portals that connect things. So you're kind of changing the geometry almost. And also, what's it called? Quantum Conundrum, that's what I'm thinking of, where you're kind of messing about with the physics.
Yeah, it was changing the sort of world itself, the dimensions.
Yeah, but I can't think of any game where you are literally kind of part of the game is rebuilding the world. It's an interesting idea.
We've got a unique concept with that, and when we did come up with it, we were quite excited by it, and hopefully people notice that because it's not really been done before in this sort of way.
No,
obviously in the Lego games you can sort of build some things, but it's always a specific thing.
Yeah.
Your character builds a thing, but he's just building the same thing. In this, there's lots of solutions and lots of different ways to solve each puzzle.
And even though it's very predefined, you go to a spot in the game world and you build the thing, whereas here you're giving them the whole game world to play with.
Yeah.
And that's what really makes it unique. And it is a fantastic idea, and as you say, it's something very different. And I think at worst, it genuinely shows players some of the difficulties involved in game design. which is a nice twist on it. And at best, you create awesome, interesting puzzles, of course.
It wasn't part of the initial plan, but hopefully we can like get people interested in game design and stuff, and like they're actually sort of building the puzzles as much as we have as well, when they're playing it.
Because as I understand it, one of your main responsibilities is actually designing the puzzles and stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm mainly focused on the artistic side of things and the design stuff. Graham does all the programming, making it actually work. So
I don't like designers. As someone who writes code. But I mean, how are you finding the process so far? We were talking before the podcast started that you've been having a few setbacks recently, unfortunately.
It's nothing to do with the game. Like the game itself's going really well. Like we're polishing it up. We're on target, but our Steam Greenlight campaign is just not quite picking up the steam that it needs to actually get us onto Steam. We're sort of stuck middling our way towards. You have to be in the top 100 sort of games to actually get approved for Steam, and every now and then, like a bunch do get approved, which sends you up a little bit. But then new games come in, and like you sort of drop to the back of the queue. It's essentially just waiting in a big queue. Like just now is what we're doing with Steam Greenlight. And then we applied for this UK Games Fund, and unfortunately didn't get anywhere with that because there's quite a lot of competition in that. And it's just like it's quite hard getting this sites, especially just now when they're so busy with like all the big November releases. It's quite hard getting them to, like we did a preview build and only like one big site actually took the time to play it and interview us and stuff.
I think it's worth persisting though and trying again in the new year.
But it is our first time doing all of this as well. Yeah, we're obviously in a new year we're gonna like come back to it with a fresh head and hopefully get our Steam Greenlight campaign on the go.
I think like January, February is going to be. I mean, once you get around to March, it's a bit busier, but January, February is quite quiet, so that's probably a good time.
We were hoping to release in mid-January, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen now with the. Because we have to get on Steam Greenlight. We could release on other platforms, but that's just going to take up even more time that we could be focusing on getting onto Steam. And like, if I'm honest, the other platforms, although they are good, they do have their merits. They don't have that same user base at Steam, like the millions of players on Steam.
Yeah, I think that's always going to be an issue. If you can't get on Steam, you're going to have you're not going to get that traction.
So yeah, the game's going well, and we're doing what we learned at university, basically, like making a game. That's all working as planned. Probably better than planned, actually. We're discussing that we've probably done above and beyond what we'd expected to do when we set off, which is good.
Yeah.
It's just get it out there and stuff that we're really looking forward to getting that sorted.
Well, I mean, that's always in a way, that's the most difficult bit because you can make this huge, beautiful game, but getting other people to notice what you've done is never going to be easy.
Sometimes, like with certain bits of marketing, it's all about like luck of the draw or specific timing and that, and you've just got to work that out. But we'll get there. We'll definitely get there, and hopefully, the game will speak for itself once it does get onto Steam and stuff. Yeah,
I think that's going to be a good point. Where are you at on in the Greenlight queue right now?
Well, it doesn't show you like where you are, but it shows you how close you are. We're like 50% of the way to the top 100 or whatever. But we've sort of been like middling around there just like for a while now.
Yeah.
Like just because it's like once it gets sort of pushed to the back of the page, and then you're not getting the new viewers throughout. People just going onto Greenlight, and anyone that we do, like if we post on Twitter saying, "Here's our Steam Greenlight campaign," it's usually those people have already voted.
Yes.
So, but if you haven't voted, then
definitely go vote for it.
Go on, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting game, and people should vote for it. And hopefully, if you manage to get some press coverage in the new year by giving it another PR push.
Yeah,
that'll do it. Like if you can get someone like Rock Paper Shotgun to pick up on it, you'll probably get greenlit within a couple of days. You know.
Yeah, definitely. We've been in contact with sites like them and stuff, but it's just like the right timing, I think, because we did send the preview build out in November, and that was just after Fallout 4 and before Just Cause 3, and obviously reviewers are quite busy in that period.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And like no one's publishing previews at that time of year anymore.
No, it's all reviews. So
yeah. But you'll definitely get there. It'll be interesting to see what people think of it when they can finally get their hands on it.
Yeah, I really want people to play it because I'm excited to see like how people play it. I don't know how they're going to solve the puzzles. I don't know if they're going to find solutions that I wouldn't have thought of and stuff like that using the mechanics. That's all quite exciting for me.
So, before we talk about anything else, we obviously always ask people to select some of their gaming highlights from the year. I know that you've got 3 in the end you managed to pick out.
Yeah.
So what is the first game you would like to discuss?
Until Dawn, I think.
Okay.
I really like single player adventure games that you can just sit down and play through, and just sit down for a day or like two separate sessions and just sit and play through the whole thing. And like they don't have any forced multiplayer components, so I really like that anyway. And I also really like sort of B-movie horror films. So I didn't pick this up at first. If I'm honest with you, I didn't get it immediately when it came out, which I probably should have. Once I finally did get around to playing it, I was just like sort of blown away by how good it was. Like for me, it just worked so well on like a lot of levels. And have you played it?
No, I haven't played it yet. You and Tough Cup are quite insistent that I should try it.
No, well, you definitely should.
But I don't like scary things. Is the downside.
It can be scary at times, but it's more like, I don't know. The characters are really, really well written because you start off hating them. You hate every single one of them. They're just the usual, like stereotypical teen horror movie people. But then the development of the characters is quite well because you end up like really liking all but pretty much one of them, because one of them's just, I still couldn't stand her by the end of the game. But the choice system's really good as well, because like you get to make choices about the other characters and stuff, and I played it quite an interesting way. I had two other friends who wanted to play it as well. So there's 8 characters in the game that you play as, and we each like selected at random a couple of characters.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about this.
Yeah, so like, well, I'd already played it, so I let them select 3 characters each, and I selected 2. And then we played the game, and it was quite fun because you get to make choices about other people's characters. So like sometimes it was more like, oh well, that one's my character, so I'm going to save them, or like, oh, I don't care about your character as much. And it did create some like tension between us and stuff, and it was quite a fun way of playing things.
No, I could see
like
that.
Swapping the controller every maybe half an hour or so.
I think that would be a really interesting way to pitch like a full-on online multiplayer game as well.
Yeah, well, yeah,
quite fun.
It could work like that. Like I've always enjoyed doing that with games, like playing single player games but with friends, like swapping the controller. Like I played
stuff like Mario is great for it.
The Zelda games. Most of them have like we do one dungeon each, and then the next open world bit, then swap the controller and do the next dungeon.
Yeah.
And then the next open world bit.
There's also the classic, the friend who can do the bit you can't.
Like that was me when I was playing Ocarina of Time with a friend. It was the Epona horse race.
Oh,
you had to race the horse and get the horse. My friend just couldn't do it, so it was like, right, give me the controller, and then managed it. But yeah, Until Dawn's quite interesting. So it's more like the way I played it that was interesting for me, but in itself, it's a really, really good game, and like, just I ended up absolutely like loving those characters in that world by the end of it. And it was good. The second time I played it through as well, it was different choices and different people survived. I think the best thing about it is how it just combines like sort of all of the horror tropes, but doesn't do it in a way that feels forced.
Yeah. Like,
it's quite a natural story progression, but it does like have everything that you'd expect to see with a horror film. It's not just a zombie film, or it's not just a paranormal film, or it's not just a slasher film. It's like all of those in one.
I mean, I really like that they've done a genuine branching story that has real consequences. There are not many like games manage that.
There are bits that are a bit like they don't really have consequences, but some of them genuinely do.
I mean, it's going to be impossible to have every decision have real consequences.
Yeah. But there are some things like you do something wrong at the start of the game or something, and it does come back to bite you towards the end of the game. And
I also just mean the fact, as you talk about, that like if you play the game differently, different characters are going to survive.
Yeah.
I can't think of many games that genuinely achieve that.
Like Heavy Rain tried it, but it was like basically everyone could survive until the last bit of the game.
Yeah.
Like I played Heavy Rain with a friend, and he managed to keep everyone was fine, and then the last bit of the game, last 5 minutes, he just killed everyone. Just all of his characters died, and it was just like quite funny.
I mean, obviously, from a production standpoint, it's a complete nightmare, though.
Yeah, you have to make sure everything's like. Thing about Until Dawn is like it's always the same ending. It's not like it's different number of characters in that, but it's sort of a set ending, so it always works. But it's more rewarding if you save more characters and such, and if you save your favourites.
But I mean, as well, you're obviously going to have scenes where sort of characters are together, and you've got to be very careful about how you structure that.
Yeah,
so that you want,
definitely.
Yeah, you want as few scenes where characters are together, like where they might have died, kind of things, that you don't have to have multiple versions of the same scene.
Yeah, what I think they do is like in this. If one character's died, they just replace it with another character. So it's sort of like, if this character dies at this point, then another character can't die or whatever. But it's really It's a really impressive system that they've got.
Yeah, I would
there,
like to
so-
see like cause I bet it started out with a like a designer sitting down and doing it on graph paper or something.
Yeah,
I'd
and
really like to see that
doing all the different
original
like
design.
storyboards and stuff.
Yeah, just of like, okay, so this person can die at this point, which means this consequence, this consequence, this consequence.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be awesome to see that kind of thing. I love seeing those kind of internal design docs
Definitely,
that are just horrendously complicated for something that looks really simple on screen.
Yeah.
The same as what Nintendo did to advertise Mario Maker.
What was that?
Where during the Nintendo Direct stream, they were like Miyamoto with graph paper of the first Super Mario Bros.
The original.
Yeah, just like here it is on actual graph paper. This was the only way we could do it.
That's the best way to design levels, to be honest. Just
it is for that kind of game. It really is.
Like draw down, like even with Membrain, I've done some of that, just drawing and like doing overhead maps and stuff, like laying out the level.
Yeah, because you can't unless you've got a full-on level designer. You can't keep it all in your head.
No.
And even if you do, like, you still want to be able to have something you can glance at. And just go, oh yeah, okay, so that's there and that's there. It's just so much. It's much more useful.
Yeah,
and it just makes your life a lot easier. So we talked about you leaving TSA earlier in the year. What was that like for you? Were you happy?
No, it was gutting.
Were you like, man, I'm out?
Well, no, it was gutting like leaving, like because I didn't want to leave particularly. I just simply didn't have the time, and then there's a whole like being a developer and a writer the same time is not really a good thing to do. But like I was relieved that I'd have more time to actually focus on Membrain and such, but it was a lot of stress. But I was like, I felt bad for everyone else. I was like, well, I'm leaving them. They're gonna have to pick up the slack and stuff and do more to get running. And like Tef's gonna have to step up to editor, and like Tef was always great though. He always did like loads anyway, but. Like, and I was like, they're not going to have me as a backup to do news when it's needed or whatever. But so I felt more like a bit guilty about leaving. But like I still talk to all you guys and like still chat away, and so it's not been much of a change apart from I don't have this schedule to sort every night and don't have to write news now and then, and like don't have to cover features. If that was always the thing that got me, like having to cover features when there was none on that day, and sorting the schedule and all that. It was quite a lot of work. So
yeah, it is.
I'm not glad that I'm left, but I couldn't do Membrain and I couldn't do TSA at the same time. So it was a sort of I had to, like I didn't have a choice in that case.
Just try to trick you into saying you're happy you're gone.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Nah. Yeah, but
in my experience, I do
miss writing about games a lot.
No, I kind of miss it as well. I don't do it as much as I'd like to. But in my experience, there is like a week, like the first week where you're not doing it, like not doing it regularly anymore.
Yeah.
That's a good week.
I know, but now I've got all these thoughts in my head about games,
exactly.
And
that's what happens.
Like I'm taking mental notes, but I'm not taking them for any reason. It's just happening. Like
I think Tef is slowly tricking me into writing more on TSA. I think he's like, just write this little piece. Write this up a little piece.
That's good. That's what I was. Just trick people into writing things.
That's basically the system.
Yeah.
And then they're trapped eventually, and they're like, oh god, now I have to write all the things. Like, because
it's happened to all of us.
But Dom's power went out in the storms in Lancaster. He's fine now.
Yeah.
But kind of Tef threw a bunch of editing stuff at me because he was like, "Yeah, Dom can't do it. Can you do it?" And I was kind of doing it. I was like, "Yeah, I kind of enjoy this. That's all right."
So next time,
it's not as bad as I remember.
Editing even more.
Yeah, exactly. I might have to. He can't hear that. I have to take it out of the podcast. I can't let him know the truth. Otherwise, he'll be like, "Oh, so you liked it? Editing. You enjoyed it, did you, Chris? Good." Oh, it's hard, man. Though it's just hard to find the time as well. I always find.
Yeah, I know. That was the problem I was having. It was just I was working daytime in my game, and I was working evenings TSA, and I just wasn't having enough time to do actual things like play games. I wasn't.
People like Aaron has reviewed a ridiculous number of games for TSA this year.
Yeah.
and has got a list of like 50 games he's completed, and I don't know how because he has a full-time job as well.
Yeah, I know.
Like, how do you have the time? I come home from work and I generally, like, quite often don't want to play games because I'm just tired.
Yeah, and I know that's the thing. Like a lot of people well, some people that I know, they go to like procrastinate and they play a game. I can't do that.
No, my procrastination is like just watching something,
staring at the screen, or
yeah, exactly. Well, you watch
browsing Wikipedia articles until I get to the most random thing.
Yeah, just like random TV or something odd on Netflix or whatever.
See, I would like it if I could play games when I'm like procrastinating, because I'd actually be doing something on my time rather than just
absolutely
nothing, just sitting there.
I see. Which is not to say I don't like games. I like and I enjoy playing games.
Yeah,
but I find that playing a game requires kind of engagement, like real engagement and real thought.
Yeah, and as you said, like when you come home from, especially like when you come home from programming or you come home from making a game and then you go and you want to load up a game, it's too much. It's like, I have to think. Don't want to think about that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the furthest thing from your mind a lot of the time, when you're just like, I don't know, not that. When I see games like I forget what it's called, but there's like a hacking game that has come out, something Cowboy, and it's like all actual terminal hacking and stuff.
Yeah.
And I look at that and I'm like, that's the opposite of what I want. I don't want that. Like, it looks awesome. It looks like it would be a lot of fun, but I'm also no, not that.
I guess people like do enjoy that. The people that don't like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. People
don't do programming or don't like play games. Like,
exactly.
And maybe people enjoy Membrain for that reason as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's the hope. But then anyway, to bring me on to the next point, one game that I do play a lot, like after coming home. I say coming home, it's like moving away from the computer a little bit. Is Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask you about that on that line.
That is a game that I can just sit down, turn my brain off and play. And
it's because it is not thoughtless, but it's
not thoughtless, but
it's for a game that is very violent. It's kind of also weirdly light and fluffy.
Yeah, and it's really quite therapeutic, just like shooting people, and like when you're doing good anyway, when you're winning it's quite good. So like I've been playing a lot of that, and like I think I've prestiged like twice now, so that's like a day and a half of playtime in like a month and a half, which is quite a lot compared to the other games that I've played this year. And it's good. Like at first I was terrible at it because I was too used to Advanced Warfare, which is really fast paced and really bouncy, and this is a lot more like grounded. Like you're not going on, which was a bit weird when I first started playing it, because there's so many buildings in Black Ops 3 that look like you can jump on top of them, but then you try and you just hit an invisible wall or something, so I was a bit annoyed with it at first. But now that I've like prestiged and I've finally got the hang of it, I'm actually like doing quite well, and I'm finding it a lot more rewarding, and like I want to play that. Like, because when I was playing it first, I did have to think about it. I did have to think about much more what I was doing, where I was going, but now that I know the maps and stuff as well, it's a lot easier just to sit down and play.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true.
So,
but see, I played a little bit of only in the beta, but of Rainbow Six Siege, and I really like that game. I really enjoy it, but it is the complete opposite of Black Ops, because you kind of are looking at a building and going, all right, so what do I want to do? Like, where do I want to go in? What window do I want to enter through, etc. Whereas Black Ops is just that high octane, high paced. All right, I'm going to run this guy and shoot me in the face. Yeah, done. Bounce off the wall. I
do like all the new stuff they've done with it, like the specialists, and like how you get like individual characters with abilities, and you can unlock all their stuff, and I've enjoyed just unlocking things and like leveling up my weapons, and there's so much to it. It's a bit overwhelming at first, but then it's just all the same system. It's all just like unlocking and leveling up, but just for each individual thing basically. So like that is one of the games that I can that's become one of my favorite games of the year, just because I can sit down and play it and not have to worry about it too much. Like, when I go to sit down and play a game like Fallout 4, I think, well, I'm going to have to make a few hours free. Like, I'm going to have to sit down and like actually sit here for a few hours and play it. It's not something I can just jump into for 10 minutes, but with Call of Duty, you can play it for hours, or you can play it for like 20 minutes or that.
See, you keep telling me to get Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And I might do. Don't know.
You feel really like cool when you're playing it, just like running along the walls and jumping off and shooting people. It's a really good like evolution. I like the way the series has like changed over the years, and like there's been like a few people that don't like it, like they don't like all the jumpiness and the fast pace and running along walls and stuff. But I think it really works for me anyway. So definitely my favorite shooter of the year anyway, and definitely my favorite multiplayer game.
I mean, what did you think of the campaign side of things?
Well, to be honest, I've only played like half of it.
Okay.
But it is absolute nonsense.
Yeah, but I kind of like that in Call of Duty, you know?
But no. Call of Duty is usually nonsense, but this is absolute nonsense. Like,
okay.
It just doesn't make sense whatsoever. I could not follow the plot. Like a lot of people say like other Call of Duty games plots are confusing, and I never agreed with them. But this one is just like, what is going on? I don't want to spoil it too much or anything, but the level that I last played was sent you back to a World War II style thing, but you had modern guns, and it was basically a simulation of World War II, and lots of trippy shit's going on around. Like, basically there's a battle that's playing out in reverse, which is a cool mechanic and a cool idea, but it's like, why? And it's just like, this is just insane. What are they doing?
Yeah,
so,
I like...
Yeah,
it should at least make some sense, I guess.
Yeah, the campaign's not really drawn me in, but I'll need to get back to it and complete it before I can say a bit more. But it just seems to be all over the place, and just throwing in things for the sake of it. Just it's nice, like it's fun enough, and like it's still really, really like cinematic. Like I thought they were going to lose that by making it co-op. I thought it was going to be like all sort of open area gameplay or like no actual set pieces and stuff. But there's still all of that in there. So
yeah, I guess I'll try it. Maybe.
Yeah,
I'll see. But
it's just mainly the multiplayer that I play for.
Yeah, I've got to buy that suit that I was telling you about, and that's gonna be expensive.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like £200.
Just buy Black Ops and make a suit out of the manual or something.
Does it have a manual?
Probably not. Games don't have manuals.
Because they don't. They like, I'll go online.
It's got like a little sheet that says like buy the season pass.
I can't remember what it was, but there was a game that was like I was playing, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
It's WWE 2K16. It was like, hey, for the full controls, go online. It's like I don't want to do that. Just tell me what they fucking are. Yeah. Print a manual. It's so useful. I hate that thing that games don't come in manuals anymore. Manuals were genuinely useful. Looking it up on your phone is not. Like, particularly in the middle of the game, you don't want to be looking it up on your phone. That's just not convenient. Ugh.
No, not at all.
Alright, let's talk about Frodo.
Frodo, yeah, that's my dog.
Just because I like Frodo. Pretty good dog.
He's great. He is fantastic.
Like, as dogs go, I would say, like, top tier dog.
It works for him because he's like a little tiny hobbit as well.
Yeah.
A Yorkie.
And he's just bonkers.
Yeah.
And you post like the best videos of him
on social media.
On Snapchat.
Yeah.
And stuff like you have the best dog videos.
Yeah.
It's like a strong Snapchat game.
I'm glad you like it. I'll keep doing it then because when it's Snapchat you don't get much feedback. Cause
no, it's kind of a problem.
Like,
isn't it?
It's weird because like people don't even like the videos or that, they just watch them, and it's just like, well, did they watch that and did they enjoy it, or did they watch it and get quite annoyed at it for being another video of my dog?
Yeah, because with Vine, you've got a real...
Yeah, you get likes and stuff, but yeah.
I generally like seeing Frodo. He makes me giggle.
Yeah.
He's
okay,
I'll
make sure to send more Snapchats your way.
Yeah. The best one is still the one of Frodo in the mirror and you.
Oh, yeah.
It's because most of you won't have seen this, but it's Blair to take a video of Frodo looking in the mirror and be like, oh, he thinks it's another dog. Blair steps into shot, looks in the mirror and goes, who the fuck is that?
I forgot about that. I think that was a Vine.
That's a Vine, yeah, probably.
Back when I used to Vine.
That's a great video.
It's nice to get feedback on my
it's just
video taking skills.
So thoroughly stupid.
Yeah.
And that's all I want. I want ridiculously dumb videos.
Okay. I'll keep doing that.
So how has your personal life been?
Good. Well, because I'm not tied up every evening with TSA, and I've sort of doing Membrain on 9 to 5 schedule.
Yeah, I see a
I've
lot
got
of. I see a lot of. That's the other thing. I go on Snapchat a lot. It's just you at like a party,
yeah,
and
like
I'm just
not usually
going.
during the week, but
No.
the weekends, like I don't have to worry about spending my Sunday writing features, and I don't
Yeah,
have to worry about
but
all that.
yeah, it does make you feel very old when I see those.
Yeah,
It's just because you're just like, yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm like,
I'm in my 20s. I've got to.
yeah. I was like,
I've got to grab onto that last bit of having all that social fun before I grow up properly. So
yeah, it's just me looking at it, going, oh, I don't know what's the match of the day at home.
you have to come up for a party at some
Oh,
point.
it's so far away.
Maybe when I release Membrane, I'll throw a big
Oh yeah,
party.
if you do like a membrane
Yeah.
release party, I'd definitely come
Yeah.
to that. I'd feel bad if I didn't come to that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that'd be good.
I like you're like, yeah, you should feel bad.
I like how we're just making like personal plans on the podcast now.
It's fine. That's how
what
we
it's
roll.
become.
But I also like that you're like, you should feel bad if you don't come to membrane.
No, you should. Yeah, you definitely should. I'd expect that.
All right. I know. I'll definitely. Everyone will come up, and it'll be crazy Scottish times, and we'll meet Jack Black.
Yeah, of course.
That's
That's all that happens up here.
That's what I hear happens in Scotland.
Yeah. That's the only thing that's ever happened up here of note.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago now.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But what about something else happened? I don't know. It was like Scotland Day or something, and you were angry that you were working.
Oh yeah, St Andrew's Day. Like, yeah, I don't understand that. I'm miles away from where they found where the Saltire flag was, like founded because they saw some clouds in the sky, and then St Andrew came to them in a vision and said something about that, and I still didn't have the day off.
I don't know anything about St George.
Yeah, I don't know much about St Andrew except that he came to this random guy in a vision.
Well, yeah, but I don't know why his cross is red and white. I knew that he'd like fought a dragon. I guess.
Yeah, maybe the sky just went white and the clouds went red.
That seems likely. Probably that.
Yeah, because like that's how the Scotland one happened, so it must be the same thing.
Yeah, that's just how all flags are formed.
Yeah, it has to be something to do with the sky.
That's just the flag system.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard. All right, what's your last game? Come
on. Life is Strange.
I like Life is Strange. The interview. So as we record this tomorrow, interview with Oscar Gilbert and Michel Koch, who are the CEO of Don't Nod and the game designer on Life is Strange, is going up on Tuesday. And that's quite a lot about Life is Strange, is that? But people will have heard that. If you haven't, you should go listen to it. It came out the other day. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not out till tomorrow in my case.
In your timeline, but other people listening to this, it will be out by then.
Time travel, eh?
I know, it's complicated.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but Life is Strange is probably my game of the year. I was waiting for it to drop in price for some stupid reason because it was £15 anyway for about 12 hours of entertainment. So, but then when I realised that, I was like, wait, this is like 15 quid and it's going to last me, like, each episode is going to be like 2 or 3 hours long. I was like, that's probably worth 15 quid.
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
Yeah, so I put down my 15 quid and then I was thoroughly blown away. It took me like maybe 2 or 3 days to get through. Like, I was doing pretty much 2 episodes a night, and then I think I did the final episode the night after that. And I really enjoyed playing it like that. I could not have waited the months in between, like, each thing for the, like, between the episodes, because there's huge cliffhangers, like, things that would drive you insane thinking about them over the months' breaks, no doubt. But, yeah, it was just really different and quite unique for a game to approach this like sort of subject area it did, but it still had a really gamey mechanic at the middle, which was the time rewinding thing. Like that's something that you can only do in a game, because like movies that do time rewinding are still written to include that.
Yeah, whereas in this you can just do it whenever you want.
Yeah, and you can affect different outcomes, and like obviously there's bits where you have to use it and it's like scripted and to do something, but then there's bits where you can find out a different piece of dialogue by speaking to someone and then use rewinding using that information that you just learned back on them, and like maybe like twisting their words or whatever, and then they'll say something else. So I really liked how that worked, but just the story as a whole was just like really down to earth. Like, even though Max has these crazy powers and that, she's just like normal, and the writing was really spot on. There's loads of twists and turns, and it's one of the few games that's ever that's brought me to tears at the end. Like,
I think that's. I mean, I'm not to the end, but I'm only on episode 2.
Yeah.
But I can definitely see that would happen, because it is, from the off, it's a very emotional game, and it's just so well written.
Yeah. There's this, I don't want to spoil anything again, but I won't say any spoilers, but there's this bit in episode 5, I think it is, where, not going to specifics, everything just is a bit normal. It's a moment, everything's just normal, and then you're just thinking, it's just a bit of the game that really, really got to me, because I was like, this isn't going to last. Like, because at the first episode you sort of see where it's going, and you,
exactly,
like, learn that it's not going to be a happy ending or whatever. And I was like, everything's just normal, and I was like, this isn't going to last. And like, that moment alone even brought me to tears, and nothing was happening. And like, when something can do that, you just realise like how well written and how well put together it is.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just play it. Like, it's £15. It's.
I think for me, what is, I guess, important about it is, like, you have a game about time rewinding powers, and like the first scene in the second episode is you going for a shower. Like, it's the fact that it intercuts this interesting sci-fi element of it with completely normal, like almost banal day-to-day things you would do. And that's
definitely
genius, because it makes the characters relatable and feel like genuine people.
Yeah.
Like, Nathan Drake doesn't do anything that's not like being a swashbuckling pirate, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all he fucking does.
Yeah. Like,
do you not just chill out and listen to music for like 10 minutes?
Yeah, like, exactly. That's what Max and Chloe do. They feel like normal characters with like extraordinary circumstances.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that's the whole message of the game, even, that Max is just a normal teenager, and she didn't ask for what happened to her and whatever, and it's like, that's a sort of recurring theme throughout the episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think episode 3 deals with that really, really well.
Alright, I'll need to get to that then.
You see some consequences of her actions and stuff, and it's really quite heavy, but it's really well done. But basically, it just got better as it went on as well, which I really enjoyed.
I think what I like as well is it's the little things, like Max's freak out feels very genuine. Like when she discovers that she can rewind time.
Yeah.
That
Definitely
feels very honest, and that's I think that's good. But it's the little things like that that make it just a completely different game to what you would normally expect.
The only problem that I have with it is that at the ending there's obviously like choices and that lead up to different endings, and one of them is just a bit off. Like, it's not the one that I chose, thankfully. The one that I chose was absolutely perfect and like just so well written, but the other one just seems a bit like hasty to wrap things up and stuff. Like, I watched it on YouTube after, and it just, like, I think if I had ended up with that end, I would have been really disappointed. And it just wouldn't have affected me emotionally at all, like the other ending did.
That's interesting. I will let you know when I get to the end.
Yeah, let me know which one, like whatever you choose. And
I'm kind of hoping I can get it done over Christmas if I'm lucky.
Yeah, because but I think, like, I'm glad that didn't happen to me. So for me, it was perfect. But I can see someone's experience maybe being a bit spoiled by that.
Yeah, that's
like getting all that way and then just being like, oh, is that it?
Yeah, I think that sometimes is the issue with branching stories. Like, particularly when it's at the ending, picking the wrong option at the ending just makes the whole thing just go flat.
Exactly.
It's not good.
So it's not a problem that I had with the game, but it's a problem that other people like could have. So
yeah. I think it's, as you say, it's a problem that other people could have, but I think maybe that other ending might work for other people if they've sort of taken different choices throughout the game.
Yeah. But when I looked at it gives you the stats and that, like, the majority of people had picked the same one as me.
Yeah, what I like as well is there's, and I really enjoyed this, is there's you kind of get the first page, and that has the big choices. And for every episode, you kind of get the first page.
And you get all the little ones as well.
Yeah, the little ones, and like loads of them are just kind of implicit choices because you didn't even know the choice was there, so you didn't act on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really smart because it encourages you to go and replay the episode and find those little choices. Because there's stuff I feel...
definitely. Yeah, there's lots of things that you can miss by, but some of them are actually quite important for especially in the last episode. There's like things that are important that do affect the ending and stuff.
Yeah, but there's little stuff that makes me want to replay the first episode. Like I think there's a bird that you can rescue, and I didn't rescue the bird because I didn't realise it was there to be rescued.
Right.
And I kind of feel bad that I didn't rescue this like virtual bird. And I want to go and rescue it. So, yeah, I think that's a smart idea to encourage like replayability. To kind of be like, hey, you missed all this stuff. Are you happy with the choice that you like de facto made, or do you want to actually go and fix it? I think that's nice. Before we wrap this podcast up, I just want to know: did you play Max as like a nice person or a bit of a dick?
I played Max as how I felt Max would be.
Okay.
She does seem like a genuinely nice person. Like you've obviously got that bit at the start where you're not really making any choices and you get to know her a bit.
Yeah.
And like from that sort of extrapolated that she's like a nice enough person. Like she's not the most popular people, and so in that case she'll be like not to generalize, but like it's usually popular people that are more nasty to the other people, which is a trope that's shown in this
very
game
much
as well.
So. Yeah. That actually, I will say that's one of the bits of writing that did feel a little bit two-dimensional.
Yeah, definitely. Like there is more like improvement on those characters towards the end as well.
But in the first episode, they feel very flat.
Yeah, but so I just played Max as sort of a not too nice, but like caring sort of person.
So far, I'm playing her as very loyal to her friends.
Yeah.
Which I'm liking.
Yeah, because that's definitely like a trait that she would have.
Yeah, and that's definitely like there's a lot of choices that revolve around that kind of thing as well. Like are you loyal to your friends? Are you supporting your friends? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of choices around that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's wrap things up. It was very nice talking to you, Blair. Have you got any social media gubbins you want to give out?
Just my Steam Greenlight campaign.
All right.
Which is going to be at bit.ly/Membrain Steam.
But how do you spell membrane? Because you don't spell membrane normally.
Membrain spelled like Membrain. All
right.
Rather than NE. And I will make that short URL right now.
Good.
In your timeline, listener, it will have already happened.
It already exists. What about like Twitter and that?
Mystic Penguin __ on Twitter.
Okay.
And that's about it. Most of the stuff's on the Steam Greenlight page anyway, so you head over there and make sure and click that yes button.
You should definitely click yes. Yeah. Click on it, vote for them. Be like, yeah, Blair, I like you. You make a good game. I don't know if that's an option on the page, but it should be. So you should definitely go and vote for Membrain. But for now, this has been another episode in our Year According to You series of podcasts. We'll be back soon with even more interviews with great people. But for now, say goodbye, Blair.
Goodbye. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for talking to me, Chris.
Thanks for talking to me. Thanks for taking time out of your busy game-making schedule.
No problem.
All right, goodbye.
Right,
TheSixthAxis podcast.